and that is a dangerous Gnar to go up against. We just talked about the stats. Over 30 KDA, 100% win rate over 4 games right now for Summit. Destroying them in the last game. Happy to pick this one up blind if he wants it. Summit going with comfort, going with something that he has been dominating the league in and wants to continue that run. But now to the rest of FPX, as they could start to look towards bottom lane. The Lucian army still available if they wanted to go for something aggressive again.
Yeah, and the only issue here is that, you potentially leave your jungle out to dry. So we could see them prioritize the jungle here, which would mean that bot lane isn't as good as sort of responding. But actually, not even going to go in that direction. You're going to prioritize Taliyah. So something we saw picked up by L in the second rotation. FPX won it now, and this kind of suits Care to a T, right? We talked about him in the pre-show. Roaming mid, likes to be active on the map. You have a mid laner who can find that prio and be around. And also, Zeri isn't the longest range AD carry. Definitely can be threatened by the Taliyah. And now, AL can either bring in a plan if they want to prioritize the jungle here, maybe the mid laner, and respond to what FPX has. But they're just going to lock in this Akali already.
Yeah, so AL definitely a bit of a sideways approach to this draft, getting the Zeri, getting the Akali now. But getting comfort is a key thing here for Forge. Like, Akali is a pick that Forge has been playing his entire career. Definitely very comfortable. Hilariously, the Kassadin, also a pick that Forge played his entire career, but is Akali's second most played, a 4 KDA and over a 60% win rate with that pick. So just prioritizing that mid lane matchup. We'll see how FPX are going. It's possible that it's a Taliyah jungle, I will say.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about how they did buffer in the jungle a bit, stuns monsters with a boulder. That's why I feel like as much as Forge is efficient on the Akali, it was weird to bring out. And also, Taliyah has your Unraveled Earth. It tends to be pretty good against champions with dashes. And I feel like AL have picked 3 champions with dashes. So we'll see how that one pans out. Either way, FPX locking the Kalista. A lot of the typical pairings we see with the Kalista out the window. Renata gone and Mumu gone. And AL have a chance to target those even more if they want to thin away things like the Nautilus. But FPX will target top lane picks once again. With that Jax being taken away, they could just ban the Camille as well. And makes you start to question, right? This Gnar, super strong, super high prio. If ZDZ's pool is thinned and you're facing the best top lane on the patch, it's not going to be a fun time.
Certainly not. The Lee Sin being banned away as well. Like you say, the Jax gone. You could ban the Camille, or, honestly, the Camille, not that effective for ZDZ in Game Number 1 of the series. You could just allow that through if Summit's confident to go up against the Camille as well. But, removing comfort is always going to be a good way forward, so maybe just banning the Camille as well could be a good option and could leave Summit in a very comfortable position up in that top side. Yuumi banned away, denying the Zeri-Yuumi combo in the bottom side.
Yeah, we've seen Zeri Yuumi, Zeri Renata, some strong lanes that if you don't check them early, cause a lot of issue. And also, because I expect AL to ban Nort here. Nort, one of the best answers to Yuumi, because, you can't really use that movement speed to outplay his ultimate. Nautilus will be banned as expected. Now, FPX, I think you just take your jungler here. I don't think you get too much from keeping the flex open. And getting that support counter pick can be really important.
Yeah, definitely can. So, Clid, going to be looking for a jungler. And I feel like FPX were kind of hovering the Kassadin, trying to bait AL into saying, look, we're taking the Taliyah jungle, locking their AD carry, but it is going to be the Taliyah in that mid lane at the end. Viego going to the jungle. Now, anyone's legend need to lock in a support, need to lock in a top laner. They know their matchup for that top lane, not for support, though.
Yeah, I imagine the Camille again. I feel like Camille does very well into Kalista, into the Viego as well, for picking those targets out. ZDZ's laning phase was fine on top of that, so I think it makes sense. And it's on theme, right? You have this dive composition already. My question is, what is AL going to pick in the support lane? One thing to note is the reason they were kind of hovering Braum before. With Kalista, Renata is kind of the exception in that she is like a ranged enchanter you play with Kalista. Most of the time, you want to play a melee champion with Kalista to get the most advantage out of the ultimate, throwing them in, and also to play aggressive in lane. So I think AL going into this one expecting FPX to pick some sort of engaged support, maybe something like the Rel, along those lines. So they pick the Alistar, feeling confident that they're not just going to get harassed at a lane.
Yeah, and gives them a kind of a follow-up engage, right? Look how deep this AL team wants to go, right? With a Wukong and Akali and Alistar and Camille, and then Zeri to laser across the top and then fly into the fray herself. Feels like anyone's legend are gonna go deep on this one. And FPX answering that with a Rakan, certainly a great engage tool, can be a great counter-engage tool as well.
And I think it's quite clear AL have this heavy dive composition, whereas FPX have some strong kiting tools. You know, the Taliyah, the Kalista are decent at keeping melee champions at bay and kiting backwards, and it's really going to come down to the execution and how they can find the angles. AL, if you run at FPX in a straight line, you're going to get charmed, you're going to get stunned, you get knocked up. But if you can find flank angles, they'll perform much better in the team fights. But, you know, even before that, looking at the laning phase, I think bot lane, AL are happy. Mid lane, you know, you're not going to have too much pressure from the Akali, and that's really where I think FPX can shine, is the fact that they have the Gnar on the top, who's going to have control. They have the Taliyah, who's going to be able to move around and make things happen, and that's where we've seen the best play from Care, when he's active on the map. So FPX likely to hit the ground running in this one.
And I think, like, it's crucial that FPX coming into game number 2 here, really solid draft for themselves, a clear game plan available for them, plenty of aggression available as well. This is a team that have struggled across the course of the split. They had a very difficult schedule to start themselves off, but just as the schedule gets easier, Summit comes in as well. He's been playing amazingly. It feels like the team is really coming into their own. Game number 1 looking pretty clean for them against AL. Now a great draft into game number 2. If they could take a clean win here, they're going to start to look like one of the teams that you should expect to be climbing that ladder towards maybe even a higher seed for playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, there's potential. They're on the cusp of getting towards that 10th place in the league spot and being able to say, okay, at least we're in the top 10 for now. But yeah, they can really start to make some headway, especially as AL, I feel like, are one of the harder teams that they had left in their schedule. So if they manage to win this, would be not just a massive boost to confidence, but also a big move in the standings. Now 1-0 in the series, obviously, and looking to find a lead in this game. And I think that's a big thing, is that I want them to find an advantage. You have a Kalista in the bot lane. You know, you have this roaming mid laner. Try and get an advantage. Because remember, they have left Zeri open. And that tends to be a bit of a pain point once she gets the 3 items.
Interestingly, Lwx going with a cult in the bottom side on Kalista as well. Aux, I mean, I know you're a bit of an expert on the bottom lane. This screams to me that you don't want to fight when you're a Rakan and Kalista lane. I feel like surely the whole strategy here is to fight.
I feel like they kind of picked the Rakan for the team fighting, and the Kalista's still going to be strong in skirmishes, but the lane, it's like, even if you manage to hit your W on Betty, which is unlikely, like it's very hard for Rakan to hit a W when Betty will just dash away, then QiuQiu will just like headbutt Kalista away. There's really very limited amount of things you can do in this lane to find pressure, unless either side makes a big mistake. So I honestly feel like it's going to be a bit of a passive lane. And then when Lwx joins the skirmishes, that's where you'll see the value of the Kalista pick. You know, playing around those neutrals, playing around that Ren damage, but the 2v2 might be a bit quieter. Although it's Lwx and Hung, I say that they may buy Cull as well. I could also see them just going balls to the wall, because that is how they play the game.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me at all. Betty gets knocked up by Hung here. A couple of stacks onto QiuQiu as well, but it'll just be a little bit of trading just to buy priority in this bottom side for Lwx and Hung. And Betty and QiuQiu will need to be cautious at that level 2 mark. I mean, Kalista, Rakan certainly have plenty of all-in available to them. Just 1 or 2 more minions, and they'll hit that level 2 mark. Betty needs to be careful here. We'll finally back away from this one as the level 2 is hit. Just a bit of healing coming out from Hung, and good respect coming out from AL in the end. A little bit of damage from Lwx. Fair play to him, but ultimately not going to lead to too much. Heavy trading up at the top side as well. And this is sort of the nature of the matchup, but Summit doing such a good job to trade back onto ZDZ and space away from ZDZ's autos.
Yeah, it's very, like, finding those windows. Like, you don't want to overstay in the trade as the Camille. You want to take it short and use your shield. But now, Xiaohao actually looking bot. QiuQiu has the combo. But you can see FPX playing precautious. They're looking.
Cautious enough, though. Lwx going to be in big trouble here. The knock up too early from Hung. Tried to predict it. Lwx goes down. First blood. And now Clid next on the chopping block. Ignited, but will sneak away.
And you can see Lwx was trying to find the angle to flash the combo. That is basically what won that engage, is the fact that QiuQiu connects and Lwx doesn't flash. Very slick combo comes out from him. And as soon as they collect onto Kalista, it's just game over, essentially. No way they can continue that skirmish. So a strong start from AL. Xiaohao finding a good gank that'll slow down Lwx's ability to lean into his mid game.
Yeah, we'll see if he can find an advantage in that mid game. Let's take another look, though, because it felt like Hung was trying to predict the engage from QiuQiu. As when you look at this knockup from Hung, it's just a little too early.
Yeah, I think maybe trying to find Xiaohao as well. But either way, when the knockup comes in from the Alistar, Lwx tries to flash, tries to make a wake. It's a 3v3, right? I can understand that. But realistically, you're just dead as soon as that connected. And then FPX only lose one in that situation. And speaking of losing one, AL might lose more. No flashes, and Care has made the roam down, but they have seen him.
Yeah, Care on a ward right now. Clid is here as well. I don't know if this is diveable for FPX, but...
There's double TP for AL.
Yeah, I don't know if they mind right now. TP's immediately channeled in FPX. They respect that. They back away. They acknowledge that Forge is here, and so they leave.
And that's honestly fantastic for AL. Yes, you invest the TP to cover, but it's just the TP from your mid laner. You don't have to burn both. Care had already moved down, so it's not like Forge is really missing it. Okay, that's a little bit cheeky.
That's extremely cheeky, but that is exactly what we want and what we expect from Hug. Just denies the recall, and hey, FPX actually get an advantage off of this, so the wave will crash in the mid lane. Care gets the reset off first, basically for free here, and Forge had to use his TP. All things considered, it's actually worked out quite nicely for FPX.
I will say is this is the jungle matchup. While this was all going on, Xiaohao, no concern. He's like, you guys have got this. I trust you. He's now got like a 3-camp lead over Clid. Remember, Clid also spent time going for that gank bot, only for that to backfire, and he got chunked out and had to reset. So sure, like mid lane matchup, you managed to get that wave crash, but even then, Forge is still up in farm because Care walked down so early. I still feel like it favors AL overall, but the stop of the reset from Hung was nice to mitigate.
Yeah, it certainly was. Certainly was. 1-0 on the scoreboard still in favor of AL. A minor gold lead as well. But FPX so far have been posturing very aggressively all game. It feels like they want to fight. It feels like they want to make things happen in this one. Drake is onto the map as well. There's Clid pathing towards that bottom side. Infinite priority in the bottom lane. You've got Care moving over as well. This feels like FPX should have the Drake on a silver platter.
And this feels like the FPX we know, leaning towards the bot lane, which is...
Oh, Summit slams him against the wall. ZDZ, no mana to speak of. I thought this was a favored matchup for Camille. I thought ZDZ is meant to win this one.
I will say, Summit has just reset and TP back in and has Ninja Tabby over ZDZ. So as long as ZDZ doesn't die there, it's not actually that big of a deal that he gets chunked out, because he should be able to reset and TP back in, although he does have to catch this wave. Xiaohao, though... Oh, you need to chill. That is not your area of the map to contest. And as I was saying, this is like the game, the side of play that FPX know best. You know, bot lane, lead being lent towards by the team, Care roaming constantly, trying to find these windows to make things happen. Looks like ZDZ will be able to pick up some of the farm here and then just reset. And then he's going to be able to buy. That will equalize things a bit more. Yes, it looks scary. Yes, someone did nearly solo kill him, but he dodged it and didn't burn anything more than the ult. But he will miss a bit of farm. Actually, won't miss any here, but did miss a bit before, or is a little bit down in the matchup so far.
He missed ACS, though, so you're still correct. Ever so slightly. FPX
Technically
do manage
correct, which is the best type of correct.
Exactly. The FPX do grab themselves that Drake that we talked about before, though, but they are still ever so slightly down on gold. And I'm looking towards that Herald, right? Up in 45 seconds time, and it feels like FPX, they could move their bottom lane up if they really want to force the issue on that one, start to snowball the gold.
And I think that's what really FPX want to start doing. The first dragon is a good start, but you want to be picking up the Herald, chaining these neutral objectives to find an advantage, because there is, you know, a bit of a timer in the game. The fact that you are up against the Zeri is going to be problematic as the game goes on. You can see just an instance of what happened to the bot lane. Hung tries to go in for the W, dashed away. Very little threat in the laning phase, as we've seen. And other than that kill, which is actually in favor of AL, feels like FPX, despite having the pressure bot, hasn't really manifested into anything. Kind of similar to what we saw in game 1 with Lucianami. And once again, looking towards those mid-game skirmishes, I mean, even early mid-game skirmishes, to try and find a lead.
Yeah, certainly want to find that lead for themselves, as you're saying, and try and turn that into something more as well. But a little flick back onto Betty in the mid lane won't lead to too much, as Betty's just desperately trying to clear that wave. Look at this, though. LWX, he's not moving.
Xiaohao was like, yeah, I can just do the Herald here. I'm not... Well, actually, LWX being late there might give him the window. I feel like FPX want to contest this, though.
Yeah, FPX, they're saying, look, we don't have an AD carry. It's 4v5 right now, but we still want to fight you anyway. Herald down to 900, taken by Xiaohao. Now AL look for an all-in on Summit. There's a flash out from ZDZ. That's more like it, ZDZ. Much better than game number 1. And a nice pickup for AL.
I feel like that's such a scam, though. Like, Summit is like 2 whole screens away, and he gets the whole Avengers flying onto him. Like, I would have thought I was safe too, but now they're looking for Forge in the middle, and he will Shroud early. That was actually a really heads-up play to not allow them to make the jump on him there. And yes, they lose a plate, but at the end of the day, AL got the Herald, which is something I said FPX really wanted to secure. The fact they move up Betty early makes all the difference. Now LWX just slow to rotate.
Certainly are, and you can see FPX now trying to move back down towards that bottom side, clear away the waves, try and regain some control of the map. Luckily for LWX, it is pushing towards him, which could be tough for Betty, honestly, because I feel like FPX could just freeze this one out for a little while. But they might just clear it and try and build pressure once again. Clid into the mid lane here. Forge in trouble, but will dodge the knockup. There's a more to find a stun. Do they have the damage? It's a flash out from Forge to keep himself safe.
Yeah, end up being the flash in the end, but the seismic shove didn't quite connect. But now Betty...
Oh, quickness knockup onto Betty. The flash on the headbutt from LWX. Straight out played AL's bottom lane. Here comes Xiaohao to try and turn it around, but those Ren stacks are massive. Aftershock gone and a double kill for LWX. And now Xiaohao pulled back in, turn it into a triple. LWX survives and FPX put on a clinic.
Huge play coming out from FPX there. They're going to get some plates as a reward as well, but you could see FPX's bot lane were fully committed to the play to make it work. LWX ready to flash the combo, and Hung doing the old Rakan trick of channeling your ult early in the brush. So he pops it here, and because it's early, it means he doesn't get the lockout when he's out of vision. Waits a second, he can instantly combo, and then LWX, this flash just so well done. QiuQiu obviously trying to knock him away, but can't do much. And then the continuation of the play, the wall comes in, and Xiaohao, this is so sad for him because he's trying to help, and then the Unraveled Earth comes out. So if he W's over the wall, he gets stunned, but he doesn't even get a chance because of the seismic shove. Just everyone who was involved in that play from FPX executing absolutely flawlessly.
And in the meantime, CDC desperately trying to sweep these CS up while he's harassed in the top side by Summit. FPX really starting to turn into a team that you have to fear in the standings for LPL. We talked earlier about where they are in the standings right now. They're currently negative. They're 4-6. Their most recent series was a loss against OMG. And it started to bring up some questions for a lot of people on, is this team the real deal? But against AL, a team in 5th place, a team 7-3 right now, FPX are proving themselves as a team that can contend with some of the top squads in the LPL.
For sure. And it gives, you know, I think especially it's not just the fact that, you know, we talked about they had a hard schedule at first, then they got easier. They've looked better. They have looked significantly better. And I know it's easy to look better against weaker teams, but AL aren't that weak of a team, and they're looking solid so far today. So hopefully they can continue that form. But for now, it's AL looking to make the practice play topside. If ZDZ connects the ultimatum, I think Summit just dies.
Yeah, but Summit playing very cautiously on this one. Just need to maintain that caution. Xiaohao now just going to keep this play up. He's not interested in farming anymore. He's interested in making this play. But look at this. FPX, they just move into the bottom side. They know Drake is up. Summit predicts the hookshot wall dive. Could be in trouble himself, though. Flash can't be used inside the ultimatum. It looked like he knew what was going on. It looked like he was playing it so well. But unfortunately, that one misstep will be punished massively. In the meantime, Betty trying to get this red buff before it can be taken by Clid, but that's not going to happen. Now Herald in the top side with a Wukong and a Camille. That tower is done so.
Yep, so tower secured. A lot of gold for these pivotal divers on the side of AL. There's a trade, though. FPX pick up the second dragon of the game. They're going to steal away some camps and try and pressure this bot lane tower. That's the big question for me. Are AL going to be able to defend this bot lane tower? Because note, ZDZ is resetting now, but already 3 members of AL in position to try and move up. I think they should be able to defend this. It's a lot of plays for LWX, don't get me wrong, but he doesn't secure the tower.
No, he certainly doesn't. And it's 3-3 on the scoreboard. FPX are still ahead in gold, ultimately. And like you mentioned earlier, all of that is in the pocket of LWX. Has the shield bow for himself as well as his boots. He's already finished his cull at this point in the game. And they managed to get the Drake, so at least it's 2 Drakes. There are still big positives here for FPX, but AL finally getting themselves an advantage, right? And it's in the pockets of ZDZ, a player that I feel like after game number 1 somewhat needs to redeem himself, really, on this Camille. And it looks like Summit is his target, but about to turn Mega Gnar. That's not the fight that he wants to take.
Yeah, doesn't have the information as well for the rest of the team. Got to remember, Care has that Weaver's Wall to make it there quickly. But I feel like, you know, ZDZ has the Divine Sundra completed. That's kind of the point where you're like, okay, I'm vibing. I'm ready to take trades, but still has to be somewhat respectful. And now AL, you know, talked about the Zeri, how much of a threat she can be in the late stages of the game. But it's 3 minutes and a bit until that next dragon. Herald's going to come up sooner. But the fact that FPX has 2 already, you know, you can sacrifice the second Herald and be okay. I don't think you can sacrifice the 3rd dragon. And the fact that your AD carry is so far behind is going to cause issue as we go further into this game.
Yeah, I mean, we're 14 minutes in. Let's see this recall from Betty. Will it finish a mythic item? I'm certainly hoping so for him, because I feel like if Betty can't... Well, he didn't even finish the recall at this point. FPX... Oh, they want to go for a dive. They want to go for a play. They want to go for a pick. Xiaohao could be the target here. Spots Clid, though. That makes things a little more difficult, but it doesn't seem to matter. Xiaohao still knocked up, goes in with the triple knock-up himself. FPX now CC'd. Can they finish any kills, though? In with the Mega Gnar. There's just no damage on the side of AL. QiuQiu knocked away and will be taken down as well. Summit will fall. ZDZ has to sweep up here. The reset's about to come through for Clid, but no, denied. QiuQiu survives, and Hung now left alone. Care finds a knock-up, but he goes down, and AL find their footing. Forge now trying to chase Hung down, but it's ZDZ who's taking over these fights.
And Xiaohao is just massive there. As much as he goes down before anyone else dies, it's about the impact in the fight, the damage he does to all the members of FPX there. It's like FPX, their focus was taking down the Wukong, but AL were looking at the bigger picture, and they're rewarded with the fight. We'll get the replay, and it's like, so much is done by Xiaohao. Not only does he get that initial knock-up here, instantly ready to turn this play around, but he flashes to hit all 3 members, and then he repeats it again. And look at ZDZ chunk out Summit. So like, everyone's really low, and sure, they get the Wukong, but this is cleanup central for an Akali and a Camille.
And you can see ZDZ just walking around on the back of the fight, completely untouched until the knockup comes on through there, but able to just comfortably sweep people down, finishes off the final kill there. And Hung will walk away with his life, but finally, a window into this one from AL. It's 1,000 gold difference. It's still in favor of FPX, but at least they have a win condition in ZDZ, right? Now looking for a Herald as well. There's no rotation from FPX, so this should just go the way of AL.
And one of the things as well is if your FPX and your Fed champion is a Camille, I mean, sorry, is a Kalista, and the enemy team's Fed champion is a Camille's very good into Kalista. Like, that's the whole thing, is like, Lwx wants to hop around, and Camille just doesn't let you do that. So a great response to who FPX is focused on. But the downside is, as much as they get the second Herald, it will be pretty costly. They should just be able to pick up this tier 2, get a big influx of gold from that. And yeah, so I think overall, AL probably aren't going to get as much out of their Herald. But I think their focus will be that mid-tier 1. And then use that pressure to try and transition it into the Dragon. Third Dragon in 30 seconds. AL need this. They need this if they want to give themselves time and give Betty a chance to get back in the game.
So how do AL approach this Drake, right? This is going to be a key moment in their game. How do they find control? How do they make their way into this river? But then how do they actually win this fight?
So first off, Herald mid is going to pull FPX over to the tower to defend, and that allows you to get into the river. AL want vision, and they want a vision advantage, so they can look for flanks. If FPX don't know who's flanking them, who's where Camille and Akali are, that's where it becomes really difficult, because you want them to be in front of you, so they have to go over the unraveled earth so you can get the knockups. And you can see Forge already looking for the flank angle here.
Quickness used by Hung. He can't catch up, though. Bit of a disastrous quickness there from Hung. Doesn't find the engage. That's a massive cooldown. FPX, I don't think they can even fight this at this point. I feel like they just got to back away now. AL, complete control of the river. Summit pushing the mid lane, does take that Herald down. And I feel like FPX are just committing to the fact they're going to trade a mid-tier 1 here. If the health is low enough, Summit is in mini Gnar, so I think he should be able to finish that one and hop himself out to safety. There we go. So a trade of objectives. An attempt there from FPX on a pick, but just doesn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, FPX still trade up. You know, the fact they deny the Herald charge and they managed to get that tier 1 mid that's a lot more immediate value than the Dragon. The Dragon for AL, it doesn't do too much other than slowing down the soul for FPX. Right now, just one Dragon is going to do that much. But now, Forge, I think he can probably kill Summit if he finds the damage.
Summit's about to turn Mega. He's about to slam Forge into the wall, but Forge dodges the wallop. I don't know if Forge has the damage. He reckons he does, but the Shuriken goes wide. And here comes Clid. Forge, no flash available. The Maw does not land. The stun isn't there. And Forge will escape with his life.
Yeah, I mean, didn't really respect the Mega there from Forge, but if that last Shuriken hit, maybe that could have been enough to take the Gnar down. Now, Forge, Clid is looking for him.
Yeah, he's going to deny the Akali, though. But yeah, Shroud gets him out to safety. Okay. Now look at FPX grouping up on this top side. They want to try and take a tier 1 as a response to the play.
Yeah, and I feel like FPX has done a great job of like pushing the pace of the game, moving around, trying to contest towers, trying to make things happen. And AL are kind of just playing catch up. You know, they got the Dragon for AL, which was big, you know, denying that. But otherwise, it feels like they've kind of just been run around the map so far for the time being. There is still that 2,000 gold lead for the side of FPX. ZDZ trying to pick up these towers on the side. Won't find anything there before Summit comes to defend.
Summit just turning Mega Gnar as well. We saw last time that's not the point where you want to fight Summit. That is the point where you run away. I've never seen a Gnar that's 0-3-0 and yet so scared and respected by the other team. It feels like Summit, despite the scoreline, still having an impact on this game. But not quite as much as that of ZDZ. I'm keeping my eyes on him, especially in these team fights, as Forge goes for another opportunity in the top side. Care with the knock-up, and he's got some reinforcements, but in goes Forge anyway. I don't think he realized the situation. Ignite burning down on him. There's a laser out from Betty, but that just ain't enough. And now Hung finds a double knock-up for himself, retreats to the rest of the team as Clid moving forward on the Akali, but the Shuriken flip wide again. Will we see a Shuriken flip land this game? Only time will tell.
Well, he got that first one, Forge did at least, and clearly thought he could take out Care there, but just a bit disrespectful of the fact there were so many members. I mean, I knew he had the information, he just thought he could do it anyway, and ultimately the Ignite cost him his life. It's just a shame he burned the Flash as well when he was still destined to go down to the Summoner, but regardless, FPX make another good play, another advantage found on the map. And yeah, we'll see the replay. So gets the ult into the Shuriken here, and then thinks, yeah, I can burst him out. And the thing is, unfortunately, it's a great knock-up from Hung that catches him out. But then ults and flashes when he's already dead is kind of the sad aspect of that one.
Yeah, and then Hung just making sure that the play has follow-up there. Clid able to move forward, but just ever so slightly shy on the Shuriken flip. Feel that was a little mean to... Actually, did that hit? Was he following the Shuriken flip there and then ulted out of it? I think so.
Yeah. Forge did. Or
Wait, no, Clid.
Clid. I honestly don't know.
I think he did. So I take it back, Clid. I was wrong. I apologize. You hit the Shuriken flip. Let's go. Big moment for Clid in his career right there. Let's take a look at the state of the map, though, Orcs, because it's a 3,000 gold lead right now for FPX. The 2 Drakes up as well, pushing all 3 lanes right now. And it feels like AL, this team that we keep on touting as a team that when it comes to the mid and late game team fights, that's where they come into their own. I don't know if they're ever going to get a mid or late game team fight because the Baron is just being taken right now. And AL, no vision of the situation, just about starting to move into the jungle, but those Rens are stacking up right now, and Care denies entry. Xiaohao over the wall, turns invisible. Hung uses the quickness to try and buy space. Baron is down. FPX Baron has turned into a positive meme now as they manage to grab it, but Care goes down. There's one for Forge and looking for more as well. ZDZ with 1. 3 survive from FPX as Hung accepts his fate on the play. It's 2 Baron buffs. I don't know if that's worth it for FPX.
Yeah, I don't think it is. And this is the problem, is they go for the rush, and Care uses the wall to try and block them. But the problem is, as soon as you do that, you're just signaling, okay, they are definitely doing Baron. That's when you know for sure that they're not trying to trap you. And look at AL's composition. Everyone can pretty much dash over the wall, so it didn't even hinder them for that long. And when you're trapped in the pit against the dive of AL, it's never going to go well. And not only do they lose those 3 kills, remember that big shutdown from Lwx as well, 800 gold I think it was, but they're also going to lose Dragon here and allow AL to equalize in terms of those.
Yeah, feels like a tough moment right there for FPX. And now, like you say, equalizing the Drakes. Unless Clid has something to say about it. Waiting just off in the wings right here. 3K on the Dragon. Can he find his way into the pit? The answer's no. Now QiuQiu trying to escape. Feels like FPX want it, but just can't find their way in.
Yeah, not really too much of an angle. Now, something to note is they lost, obviously, 3 of the Barons, but AL don't have the best composition for dealing with Baron minions. You know, they have a melee mid laner, melee top laner. They don't have much wave clear to speak of. So if they can get Clid to move in the lane, it can apply some pressure. But it looks like they're just kind of going to let things progress pretty tamely, pretty passively. They are going to try and contest some jungle camps on the bot side, but nothing really more to come from it. Also to note, Summit has a Baron buff as well. Just kind of the split you want is having the Gnar and having someone else having it.
Yeah, absolutely. Wanting to be able to at least use the Baron for something, because right now, the Baron power play currently on minus 500 and something gold. Not ideal from a Baron play, really not ideal. Let's take another look at the initial play. It felt like they were doing such a good job to deny entry, but it just doesn't last long enough.
And that's the problem, is that Xiaohao, as soon as he sees the wall, he's like, okay, they're blocking me. He just dives straight over it, and then they can all make it out of the fight. And there's no way you're escaping here. And then the CDZ picks up the 800 gold as well. So this Camille was already monster fed. And it's kind of at a ridiculous level now. Betty, fortunately, getting a kill on top of that. But yeah, it is kind of a pain point for FPX. Yes, they get the Baron, but they lose a lot for it. And now trying to finally use that buff to make things happen here in the top lane.
CDZ on the wrong side of the map right now, but has TP available. No wards behind the play that he could TP to as QiuQiu finds a knock up onto Clid, but it will be the tower. Just brute force down. Can ZDZ answer is the question. Reset coming out from Summit as he tries to answer. He will be too late to defend the tier 2, I think, but should be able to defend the inhibitor tower at least.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure ZDZ had Divine Sundra, Ravenous Hydra going into last fight. So I'm actually kind of worried after taking that 800 gold bounty from Lwx, after taking that tier 2 tower as well. I feel like he's probably going to have close to a full item when he bases. Like, this Camille is hitting critical mass at this point. And as I said, Lwx just, you know, he's now even in levels to Betty. He's still ahead in items, but he is becoming less. Yeah, look, ZDZ just bought a whole GA. He had a stopwatch before, sure. But that's a scary position to be in if you're a Kalista.
And it's scary as well because, you know, one of the things we talked about in game number 1 for this Camille was going too deep in the fight. Well, with a GA, you can go pretty much as deep as you want so long as your team is on board. And from what we've seen, Xiaohao and Forge are completely on board with that kind of play today. We're getting close to 3 items for Betty as well. So that gap between the AD carries has minimized very dramatically. It's still almost a 2,000 gold lead, but 2,000 gold at 30 minutes ain't even close to 2,000 gold at 15.
Yeah, a lot less significant at this point of the game. And sure, FPX still have a lead. It's mostly like mid is kind of discrepancy because top is offset by bot, but mid, there is an advantage for care. But the thing with Akali is this point of the game, you can be such a massive threat if you can get into the fights at the right angles. And that is mainly the concern. Dragon in a minute 45, and that's going to be a big moment. Something I want to mention as well, something AL do very well is they often play these compositions where they have like dive threats mid and top. You know, we've talked about Forge's champion pool alluding to that. Is both the solo lanes will buy control wards. Like ZDZ actually had 2 in his inventory when he reset to set up those flank positions, and now they're looking.
Oh, speaking of TPs, it's going to be an engage onto FPX. In goes Forge onto the backline, uses his shroud to keep himself safe. Summit doesn't find much with his Gnar ulti, and Forge takes down Lwx. That's the damage gone as Hung gets annihilated. Care chased off on the other side of the fight as Betty stacking up and chasing them down. ZDZ to cut Care in half with his legs. And now AL can take anything they please.
And that's the ideal fight for AL. You find a flank angle, and FPX falls apart. The Unraveled Earth, so little value there at stopping the Camille. And as soon as ZDZ gets on Lwx, I feel like it's just game over.
Certainly felt that way. 1,000 gold lead now for AL. They finally have the gold lead for, I think, the first time this game. 27.5 minutes as the resets come on through. Baron up in 30 seconds. Dragon up in 35. And it feels like, Orcs, we're getting a bit of a banger to continue with our first series here today, here in game number 2, here when AL needed to redeem themselves.
And just the fact it's so in sync. The TP starts coming in, but the engage is instantly there to stop them from backing away. Lwx just gets deleted, like just gone immediately. And as well, Betty started to do so much damage at this point. Hung nearly going down there. And in this situation, it's just like ZDZ walks up, taps you, you're down. Level 16 on the Camille now. And so then, no, Dragon in a few seconds. Betty is finished Infinity Edge. This is a big spike coming through.
Oh my God, Forge just wants a 1v1 with Clid. He won't find it, though, as Clid escapes, but
goodbye.
Care abandoned by his jungler. It's a disaster. And now Summit walks up. Look at his health. It's just gone. CDZ hits him for a third of his HP with 1 Q. That is a Drake for AL if ever I saw one.
I feel like Camille just hasn't like been firmly in the meta enough for us to really remember what an absolute horror this champion can be. And this is a stark reminder of what a fed Camille will do. The fact that even Summit just gets chunked so heavily, and now with Care down, they feel confident to stop the Baron. CDZ is the one stalling the Dragon, so perhaps they want to slow play this one a little bit and wait for the Camille to get there. Wait for the Camille to fight. Oh, what is that damage?
God, this is the reason that you don't let Zeri through. AL have the Zeri blasting Hung to pieces. They got ZDZ that can one-shot anyone. Feels like they have so many tools, but on the other side, if they do make a mistake, the Rakan is always going to be there to punish you. They have to play this so carefully, and they will just go for a reset. They don't want to overplay their hand.
I do want to mention one thing, though. We often focus more on the soul instead of the individual dragons because, you know, since souls were introduced, individual dragons just aren't as impactful. Like Infernal gives half as much stats as it used to. But Mountain, when you have 3 Mountain dragons, that's 16% armor and MR. That is a lot, by the way, for, you know, the fact you have a Zhonya's on Forge, you have the GA, the Merc Treads, that Chain Vest on ZDZ. That's like a lot of extra resistances coming in across the board. Even just if you're working on base stats like Betty is, it makes a sizable difference. So a big power boost for AL, who honestly don't really need one at this point. But if they get that soul, I just give FPX no hope in this one. And you can see AL, they feel so confident now, starting to push up and contest his vision. ZDZ's teleport is coming up soon, so they're going to send him into a side lane to apply some pressure there.
They certainly are, as Forge tries to clear the vision, but there is a ward in the back of the pit from FPX, so they have no reason to just face check in. But now they realize that they have the tempo, they have the opportunity to get some vision of their own here, and Lwx will be there to clear away some of these wards. And FPX finally find themselves some semblance of control on this map, at least for a brief period of time. They're grouping up. It looks like FPX actually want to fight this one. Laser across the team. Xiaohao. It's going to be his clone here, taking a lot of damage. In goes Hung for the engage. Quickness onto everyone. Is there follow-up? Knockups across the team here. Forge in the middle of everyone. Lwx trying to survive, trying to kite back, but he's in an ultimatum, and he's taken into GA. The gold difference, or the stat difference, is just too much, and AL mince FPX alive. They turn them into delicious pasta food. Pasta food? What am I saying? Clid's going to be the last one alive as he walks away limping to his base. It will be AL in complete control.
You know, I don't know where you're going with it, Joe, but I kind of like it, so let's just roll with it.
Channeling hysterics right now.
Yeah, the pasta food, there's a little bit of dough running away still. Clid not being formed into nice, tasty ravioli.
Just not a fridge today. He's just not a fridge.
He's just not a fridge. And now AL looking towards this Baron, and I feel like, you know, I talked about how the Fed Kalista and the Fed Camille is a bit painful. I didn't expect it to be so prevalent, though, where ZDZ is like a heat-seeking missile. Lwx just isn't allowed to exist in the fight because Camille will hunt him down, and we kind of saw that on repeat. But this last fight, it's like ZDZ even got blocked from hookshotting over to him and just went, screw it, I'm flash ulting him. I don't care. He is dying. And just in the final bit of the fight as well, I mean, we'll probably get to see the replay, but I just find it so hilarious. It's like, we have this initial engage from FPX, which feels a bit forced. I think because they forced the W from Xiaohao, they're like, we can go for this. But then you watch ZDZ come from the flank, right? He clearly wants to get over the wall here, but he gets blocked by Clid quite nicely. And then he just goes, whatever, flash ult, you're dead, Lwx. And then the thing that solidifies how much the Zeri is outscaled is when Betty dashes over the wall and it's like, yeah, I'll just kill the Kalista. No worries, guys, I've got this. And sure, he was full HP, he has ZDZ to help, but yeah. Zeri fully online, Camille more than online, and FPX, it's a minute 15 until that soul for AL. If they secure it, they need to try and find a solution.
Summit wants to try and find a fight. Hung alongside him. ZDZ's just going to ult Hung straight off the bat. Hung in big trouble right here, but Summit ults ZDZ and keeps his teammate safe. In comes the monkey, though. Care trying to escape with his life, but taken down by Forge. Lwx dancing around. No GA available. Ooh. And sliced into. AL just annihilate FPX. We're going to 3.
They just obliterated them. I think that might have been a lot of the damage from Forge and Betty, but just they got clumped and they got just cleaved through. FPX, I actually respect the decision. If you wait till the dragon, you give the potential for AL to secure the soul, get that big boost, and then fight them. They try and find an angle early, but it doesn't work. And game one, FPX won pretty convincingly from the mid game. It took a bit longer for AL, I feel like, to get to grips in this one, but a pretty convincing win regardless on the back of ZDZ's Camille.
Beautiful stuff here from AL, managing to take themselves that win over FPX, and a much needed one after how game number one went, after how things were looking in this series. You know, AL felt like they might have been found out, but they find an answer to this Gnar from Summit. ZDZ having an amazing game for himself, and very much a redemption game. Like we said, game number one, Summit won this matchup on the Gnar, had a great impact on the rest of the fight, on the rest of the game. Now ZDZ answering back and showing that there is an answer to this Gnar. It's not something that can be blind picked with impunity.
And I just love the fact that he's confident to run it back. He's like, no, not a problem, the matchup. It's not a problem that I can't handle Summit. Game just didn't go as we wanted it. And also the fact they invested resources into him, which made so much of a difference. Often we see bot being this big focal point, especially for FPX. But the fact that they're like, no, if we put in resources into this Camille, it will be so relevant. And it was. The Kalista couldn't function into it. Just felt like every time, as I said, like a heat-seeking missile. But a good bounce back from the side of AL, kind of showing why, you know, I expected the series to be close. I feel like both these teams should be similar in level, despite the difference in scoreline. And now we're going to a game 3, which I hope is going to be a banger to follow off. You know, we've had 2 good games so far, but often the third one really sells the series.
Yes, it does. And I feel like we had a very slow start to this one as well. And it's just been picking up pace as we've gone. Each game getting progressively faster. I'm hoping game number 3, we just have a bagger from start to end. But I'm curious how the draft is going to change. I'm curious how the teams are going to approach this game 3, because I feel like we've seen learnings from both teams across the course of this one. Forge on this Akali, though, it has to be said, a phenomenal performance. I feel like he was kind of outshone by ZDZ in a lot of the early game, but the team fighting, Forge was doing huge portions of damage.
I feel like he was such a quiet carry. And, you know, like that final burst of damage to AoE them all, big part of it was Forge. But it's like, if you have an Akali who doesn't get checked in the early game, is able to free scale, and then is in a composition like this, like you have allies to dive with you and hold them in place so you can connect, you can just do monstrous things. And it, you know, as we hit on earlier, Forge is very efficient on this champion. So really solid performance coming out across the board for AL. And this is kind of like why we've hyped them up, why they've looked like such a good team, because as a 5-man unit in those team fights, they can just deliver excellence.
They really can. I think Forge might even snag the MVP away. Looking at the stats there, it's very possible that ZDZ ends up losing his MVP to Forge on this one. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see after the break. But certainly a tough one for FPX. And I feel like this Kalista pick did not work out for them. They need to be more cautious about when they lock